It's an interesting time for business. Tariff and trade policies are dynamic, supply chains are squeezed, and cash flow, it's tighter than ever. If your business can't adapt in real time, you are in a little bit of hurt. So how do you get full visibility and adapt in real time? Over 42,000 businesses trust NetSuite by Oracle, your AI-powered business management suite. It brings accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR all under one roof. NetSuite is the #1 cloud ERP for a reason. It's your single source of truth, giving you the data and control you need to move quickly. Real-time forecasting helps you move into the future with confidence, and with AI built in, you can automate the busy work and focus on strategy. NetSuite helps you see what's stuck, what it's costing you, and how to pivot fast. If I were running a business with a lot of moving parts, I'd use NetSuite for full control over everything. Tame the chaos with NetSuite. If your revenues are at least in the 7 figures, download the free ebook, Navigating Global Trade, 3 Insights for Leaders at netsuite.com/SPI. That's netsuite.com/SPI. You spent months building towards launch day, but when the clock hits 0, your site crashes. Bots swarm, and loyal fans rage on Reddit. That's not good. Fanfare was built to stop that. Fanfare is the drop platform made for high-pressure moments, stampede-proof infrastructure, verified waitlists, and bot filters that actually work. Instead of refunds and rage, you get retention and revenue. And that sounds great to me. Your next launch shouldn't be a gamble. Get Fanfare's 5-step hype drop playbook and learn how to bulletproof your drop at fanfare.io/playbook. Again, that's fanfare.io/playbook.
Hey, what if instead of paying Mark Zuckerberg, you could pay other creators and you only have to pay for performance? So instead of running these ads and seeing how it turns out, you could just say, I will pay $2 for every engaged subscriber that someone sends to me in the design space, in the small business space, like whatever community you're a part of. It's peer-to-peer. Creators saying, hey, I will pay this amount. And other people saying, I would love to earn money on every new subscriber that I get and I refer to you. And it's all money in the creator ecosystem.
Today, we're talking with the founder of ConvertKit. ConvertKit, you might know, is the email service provider that I use. I'm an advisor to the company. I'm an affiliate. And Nathan has had an incredible story of how he's bootstrapped this business. We talked about that in a previous episode. But today, we're talking about something pretty amazing. You know, in the world of email, which is a fairly, no offense, Nathan, dry thing to talk about, oftentimes companies in this space lack innovation. And for a while, every company, including ConvertKit, seem to be doing kind of like the same things. Nobody's, like all the same playing field, if you will. But recently, ConvertKit launched something that has been pretty amazing. I've been a part of it. I was very grateful to be a part of the alpha launch of this thing, and we want to tell you all about it and get you involved, because what's it going to do for you? It's going to get you more emails, higher quality leads, and some of the plans that they have for it are going to unlock potentially some really big things for you in the future. So whether you are on ConvertKit or not, you'll still get value out of this in terms of how to innovate during a time in your business, as well as competition and how to get inspiration from other companies and all those kinds of things. But I do truly hope you eventually get on ConvertKit, just if anything, to get access to what we're about to talk about. So again, you can try out ConvertKit if you like. ConvertKit.com is where you want to go if you want to go through our affiliate link, smartpassiveincome.com/ConvertKit. But for right now, let's just have a chat. Nathan Barry, this is session 689 of the Smart Passive Income Podcast. Nathan Barry from ConvertKit. Here we go.
You're listening to the Smart Passive Income Podcast, a proud member of the Entrepreneur Podcast Network, a show that's all about working hard now so you can sit back and reap the benefits later. And now your host. He refused to wear a watch for 39 years because of the tan line it left on his wrist. Pat Flynn.
Running a business means legal questions are inevitable. Is this contract or agreement solid? What can I do if a client won't pay me? Am I set up properly for taxes? Well, rather than trying to navigate all of this on your own or searching endlessly online, imagine having a law firm on your side without the high hourly rates. That's exactly what Legal Shield's small business plans offer. With Legal Shield, entrepreneurs get access to real legal support, contract reviews, collection letters, guidance on business formation, and even help handling IRS audits. Members can book consultations, upload documents through the app, and work with a provider law firm that understands small business laws in your state. You also get proactive help on tax and trademark questions so you can stay ahead of legal risks. And if a client delays payment, Legal Shield can send professional collection letters to help you recover what you're owed, all for a fraction of what traditional attorneys charge. Go to LegalShield.com/SPI or call 833-570-9980 to learn more and get big business legal support without a big business budget. That's LegalShield.com/SPI. Still using a copy-paste website? Break the template trap with Framer. Whether you're overwhelmed by traditional site builders or frustrated with cookie-cutter designs, Framer gives you the freedom to create a site that's professional, polished, and uniquely yours. Framer is the design-first, no-code website builder that lets anyone ship a production-ready site in minutes. It's free to start, allowing you to browse hundreds of pixel-perfect templates or even design something on your own on a totally blank canvas. Add bold animations like appear effects, text effects, parallax scrolling, scroll animations, looping animations, and much more in seconds. The built-in AI handles the heavy lifting, generating starter layouts, and can even translate your entire site to any language. Ready to build a site that looks hand-coded without hiring a developer? Launch your site for free at framer.com and use code SPI to get your first month of pro on the house. That's framer.com, promo code SPI. Framer.com, promo code SPI. Rules and restrictions may apply. Nathan, welcome back to SPI. Thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
You've been here a couple times. I remember one time we talked specifically about email strategy, which was, of course, relevant to the company that you had recently at the time built, ConvertKit. Then you came back on to just talk about life as a bootstrapped company, right? Which was really fun. And I always use that episode as a good example for, if you're an affiliate for a company, bring them on your show. You don't even need to talk about the product. Just tell the story. And that story was so amazing because you had to make some very, very tough decisions on a lot of the projects that you were working on. And, long story short, obviously you've focused completely on ConvertKit and look where it is now. It's doing amazing things. So I wanted to bring you back on to talk about a specific feature, in fact, of ConvertKit that has recently come out that I think would be a good lesson, not just like, here's the feature, go use it, but more so like the story behind it, because I think there's a lot of people who have businesses, whether it's software or a personal brand or an agency or consultancy, who can just get inspiration from this as far as like, how do we begin to start innovating in the environment that we're in right now? So I want to save what this is for like a punchline. So can we rewind to like maybe ConvertKit 2020, just email and that's kind of environment kind of feeling very stagnant.
Right.
What was going through your mind at the time, and like what conversations were you having as a company even?
Yeah, well, first, like 2020 was an interesting time, not just because of the pandemic, us being all trapped inside and everything, but also everyone going online meant that obviously it was terrible for local businesses and restaurants and all of that, but it was really weird and in some ways amazing for these creator businesses, right? Like email lists and YouTube channels that were well positioned grew like crazy. Companies like ConvertKit saw these big spikes. Now, at the same time, we had a bunch of churn from like the travel blogs all put things on pause, because their traffic went down, right? But all, your business and your self-help and your sourdough recipe blogs and, they went crazy. And so we had just this crazy amount of growth during that time. And I think we really just focused on making sure the app was scaling well and all of that. We had some good features that we built, but all across email, it didn't feel like, both with ConvertKit and across the industry, it didn't feel like there was that many interesting things happening, because all the interesting things, they were mostly interesting bad or interesting unique of like a once in a lifetime, once in a century pandemic. But there wasn't a lot of innovation or things happening in that space. And it was mostly just, how do you scale a platform, support this new growth, make it fast and all of that. So it was really in the last year that the email market started to shift and some really interesting things started to happen. And we had some pretty unique ideas.
Yeah, I mean, we started to see, I think the first company to come around to kind of like change things or create something new was Substack, right? They kind of reinvented what it meant to have an email list, in fact, and it really paved the way for, paid newsletters, in fact, which ConvertKit now offers. And email in general, I think I agree with you. It's email and it feels old almost at this point. I think we all know how important it is. Maybe we're just preaching to the choir here because everybody listening should have an email list at this point. But in general, new creators coming on board during the pandemic and starting something new, email was not at the top of their mind, right? It was building audiences. It was TikTok, Reels, Shorts, a lot of the short form video content platforms, YouTube having a surge as well. But when it came to email, things kind of mostly felt the same. And so I'm curious about the lack of innovation during that time. What was the reason for that? Was it because the just team efforts were focused on, the scaling and everything that was happening, or had, should innovation be a part of the usual environment of a company? Like, looking back, would you have done something different during that time?
Well, I think it depends on what ideas you have. The other thing that was actually interesting about that time is that email did get really trendy. Like if you do a Google search for the headline, like email is dead, it's been said all the way along, right? That email's dead. We've moved on to something else. And then obviously like total email volume and number of creators on email has just continued to climb. And so in that time, Substack launched and was gaining traction. Twitter bought Review, which is a small email tool. They bought it, integrated it natively, made it free. Facebook, because of regulatory things, could not buy an email company. They've had acquisitions blocked. Like basically after buying WhatsApp and Instagram, the federal government was like, you can't keep buying stuff. You're going to own everything and have a monopoly. So they built their own tool internally called Bulletin. And so there's this time where everybody was talking about email. And a lot of the innovation was just around making it easier to publish and really it just becoming mainstream. Like journalists saying, hey, I'm going to leave my position at the New York Times and I'm going to start an email list, a Substack or something else. Paid newsletters were a big thing there. ConvertKit supported those from the early days. But I think it was really this wave. There were two companies at the same time that started doing this recommendations idea. And I think that was really interesting. So those companies were Substack and SparkLoop.
Recommendations meaning what? Like in what way?
One thing that's interesting is like life as a creator is very social. You and I met at a conference. I'm trying to think which one. New Media Expo in 2011. I don't know what.
Like, it was probably Blog World Expo back then
at the time.
And it got rebranded.
And then on Social Media Marketing World and all these other events. Like if you were trying to get traction as a creator, and it's still true today, like one of the best things you can do is go to an event, connect with other creators, build those relationships, have a mastermind group, learn from each other, promote each other's stuff. And that happened in strategy and maybe like, oh, who's on your podcast, that kind of thing. But it didn't get built into tools and systems in the same way. One place that I saw it happen a lot is actually with the rise of like Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. I don't think this is true on TikTok as much. I'm not sure. But where when you put out content, like if I publish a tweet and if 5 to 10 of my friends favorite and reply to it, they don't even have to retweet, but favorite and reply to it right away. Like it is significantly more likely to get 1 million views than if I just put it out and see what happens. And so you ended up with these groups of creators who were like, hey, I need to band together with my mastermind group or my friends to promote each other's content. And that will help us grow faster. And so then what Substack and SparkLoop did is say, hey, let's build this in as a feature of the product. Where basically instead of an informal group, it's actually, if I subscribe to, let's say someone subscribes to my newsletter, right? And then it pops up afterwards and says, hey, thanks so much for subscribing. Why don't you also check out these other creators that I enjoy reading? Pat Flynn, Jay Klaus, Brennan Dunn, you could link to a few other people and it gives them an easy way to opt in. And so then what happens is you end up in this small group of creators recommending each other and you all grow faster because of it. Because if you imagine if both of our newsletters are growing at the same size and we're recommending each other and half of the people, half the people coming to my newsletter, the stats are usually about 30 to 40%, but for simple numbers, if half of them take me up on my recommendation of you and vice versa, just on the two of us recommending each other, we're now growing 50% faster. And if we pull 2 other creators into our little circle, now we're growing twice as fast. And so it's taken this idea that's been around forever in the creator economy of partner with other creators, right? Like YouTube's advice. You want to grow your YouTube channel? Do collabs. That's what
collaborate, right?
That's what they say. And so it's taking that and building it into a product. So instead of me saying, hey, Pat, let's do a newsletter swap. And you're like, okay, well, I can fit that in mid Q3, and we do that one time. It's like, actually, let's just build it into the product and let's turn that on and let's do the equivalent of a newsletter swap all day, every day with all of our new subscribers. So that's really what's been happening, which is absolutely like newsletter growth rates are changing like crazy.
Yeah, it's been really neat to see. And I got to say, it's about time that something like this has come out. And I know you've pulled inspiration from other companies, and that's what you do. You take something that you're inspired by and can help your own people, and you make it even better.
Well, think about Instagram stories and Snapchat, right?
Well, right.
Like, we don't even think about Snapchat. We only think about Instagram stories now.
And I'm not trying to, say that, nothing was taken or anything like that, because ultimately this just helps everybody who has email, which is amazing. And so I was invited to be a part of the alpha group for the Creator Network inside of ConvertKit, and I love how that was rolled out. Can you tell me how you got the team to roll it out in such a way? I mean, there were a lot of people involved with this, of course, but I thought it was handled beautifully, because tools like this, features like this can, when rolling out, be very confusing. They can break and be buggy, but I thought it was handled really neatly.
Yeah, this is a very different feature for us, because everything before in ConvertKit has been single player, right? Like, you operate your business independently. What I'm doing inside my ConvertKit account has nothing to do with what you're doing inside yours. We can share automations. I can be like, hey, like, why don't you import this automation that I made? Or an affiliate could do that. But it's not inherently social, unlike the social networks. But this feature, for the first time, like, it only works if you have friends and you're onboarding with other people and you have these partnerships and relationships. And so we took a different approach, and we went very, very small. We did just 40 creators in the alpha version of it. And we said, hey, let's recruit. Who do you want to recommend? Let's recruit those people in, and let's build these cohorts, onboard everyone by hand, take a very concierge model. And that way everyone's seeing success. And so we started with 40, worked out all the kinks in the software, and then added another like 25 to 50. And then now we're at the point, we're recording this in early May. We just hit 2,000 people that have access to it. And we're going to ramp up from there. But we're telling people, hey, you don't get access until you've filled out your creator profile so people can find and recommend you. And you've also said who you want to recommend. So there's a few of these little things in there. Like, you can't actually, your profile doesn't go live in the creator directory until you've selected someone that you're going to start recommending. So it starts with this like pay it forward dynamic.
I love it.
What's neat about
That's what's so innovative about it.
Yeah. And like, if you think about, I think everyone in their creator journey has a handful of people where you're like, oh, I would not be where I'm at today without those people. Like, for me, I think about Chris Gillibo super early on, his World Domination Summit conference, things I learned from him. Like, ConvertKit would not be where it is today without you. There's a bunch of other people in that journey. And so this is a feature where you're like, wait, I can actually be that for someone else, right? I can go, who's a up and coming creator that I want to recommend, and I can put them into my creator network and start sending them subscribers because they're putting out high quality content and they deserve it. And so just like, you could easily go transactional with this. And so we're putting these little dynamics in to make it say like, no, this is a like rising tide raises all ships, or a pay it forward type feature. Yeah,
it's great. I mean, even in the month or two that I've been in it, I mean, as a result of, I'm being currently recommended by 38 different creators. Some of these creators I don't even know. Like, they found me in my profile there and have added me to their own website. Like, now my newsletter can grow on somebody else's website, which is really cool. And so 38 people recommended me, thousands of views on those forums, and hundreds of new subscribers that I would have never gotten otherwise, and a 26.55% conversion rate, which is pretty darn good. And I'm currently recommending 5 creators, and we have a 44% conversion rate, and it's really cool.
Yeah, that's a really solid conversion rate.
Yeah, I'm being very selective with who I recommend because they perfectly align with the audience that I have. And then some of the, I'm going to rotate them and whatnot. Tiago Forte, for example, he was recently on the podcast. He has a 45% conversion rate. So it made sense that people would see then Tiago being recommended after he was on my podcast, which is pretty cool. So we're kind of like dynamically changing that, which is neat. And then I go to the discovery area here, and this is, again, only available on ConvertKit. And I love that, as an advisor and a user of ConvertKit, I just love to see these things that make ConvertKit even more awesome than it already is. And I can discover more people. I mean, there's thousands of people here, and I can filter them in different kinds of ways. I can filter them by creator type or topic. And so I can even meet new friends here. If I was just starting out in a space and using ConvertKit, I could easily begin to see myself building relationships with people just literally off the backs of this. Like, hey, I noticed that you're on the Creator Network. I'm going to share your newsletter to my people. And like, what's going to happen after that? I mean, especially if I bring some people in, I mean, that creator is going to come and reach out to me and say, hey, maybe I can do that for you too. We should talk. Let's get on the podcast together. Let's meet somewhere. Right. So now you're adding that social part to something that felt very alone inside of the world of email, which is really cool. What are some of the plans that you have? I know that certain things and announcements can only happen at certain times, but I think at the time that this episode comes out, maybe you could share some plans for the future, because this is only the beginning. I know.
Yeah. So we're just in the alpha and then the beta stage of this at Craft and Commerce, which is our event in early June, a month from when we're recording, but like just the episode will go live just after that. We've got some big announcements. So we'll go to the general release of the Creator Network. So you'll no longer need to be on the wait list to get in. But there's a really interesting, we talked about SparkLoop earlier and how they were pioneering a lot of this space. They did it with a feature called Upscribe, which is basically, this functionality. And they were doing it ultimately to build what they called their partner network. And this is where you can do paid recommendations. And so what this means is, as a creator, I can browse a directory of creators, find who I see as interesting, and select to recommend them and get paid for every engaged subscriber that I send to them.
Wow.
If you think about it from the other way, right? Like Pat, you've sold a lot of products. You know what a subscriber is worth to you on SPI. And so it's pretty normal to go out and say like, okay, well, through this funnel, people are going to convert at this rate. And so I could spend X amount for every new subscriber. Let me go to Facebook, Instagram, Google, and buy ads. And if I can go, on a cost per lead basis, well, I guess I'm paying on CPMs for views and getting through to clicks. And then I've got a conversion rate coming in. If I could get to $3 per subscriber who's engaged, that would be amazing. I can drop them into my content, educate them, and then ultimately some number will buy. And then I've got my payback period and all of that. So we're very used to, as professional creators, we're very used to going out and paying, advertising to reach more creators. And what SparkLoop did that I think is so innovative is they said, hey, what if instead of paying Mark Zuckerberg, you could pay other creators? And so what they said is, and you only have to pay for performance. So instead of running these ads and seeing how it turns out, you could just say, I will pay $2 for every engaged subscriber that someone sends to me in the design space, in the small business space, like whatever community you're a part of. And so then what happens is you get this network where it's peer-to-peer. Creators saying, hey, I will pay this amount. And other people saying, I would love to earn money on every new subscriber that I get, and I refer to you. So an example of this is a creator named Sahil Bloom, and he's growing crazy fast. And he reinvests a lot of the money that he makes on products and sponsorships with his audience. He reinvests $20,000, $25,000 a month on SparkLoop's partner network in order, saying, hey, I'll pay $1.50 per subscriber. And he's got all these other creators who are happily recommending to him, earning a living from it. And his list is growing 14,000 subscribers a month just from that. And it's all money in the creator ecosystem.
And then he's able to sell more of his product, which then gives him more money to spend more money on bringing new people in from the peer-to-peer network, which then just creates a nice loop.
Yeah, you're touching on really Sahil's flywheel, which is the more subscribers he has, the more sponsorships he sells in his newsletter, and the more products, of his own products he sells, which gives him more money to reinvest in advertising, which makes his newsletter bigger, which means he can sell sponsorships for more. And this flywheel just accelerates and gets bigger and bigger. When you combine his social growth and everything with it, like an early rotation of his flywheel would generate like 5,000 subscribers a month. And now he's generating more like 50,000 subscribers a month because he's making so much money, he's reinvesting all of it. So kind of the exciting news in that is that we can now announce is that we've acquired SparkLoop and we're bringing their partner. That's very exciting. You're probably also excited because you were an early investor in SparkLoop.
I was, yes.
You get to see this deal happen from both sides of being a shareholder in both companies, but really bringing this new way to earn a living and this new way to grow your audience directly into the creator network. And so it's like, oh, I can do free recommendations. I can get paid for recommendations, and I can also take the money I'm earning and reinvest it to grow even faster.
and I'm incentivized to make sure that I have more traffic on my website because, I can pay for access to other things that make that happen. That, again, just this whole flywheel situation can happen. First of all, that sounds awesome. So I know we're recording this on May 4th, so Star Wars Day. When does that partner network start or happen? Like, when can I get on that, please? Because that I would pay for that right now.
Sparkloop's side independently is live now, and it'll be live in ConvertKit at the time that this airs, in mid-June.
Okay, so let's say I am me, and I want
hypothetically speaking,
I want to pay. Who am I paying? How much is it going to cost? How is that all determined? Like, what's the workflow going to be like?
Yeah, so what you would do is you'd go inside the partner network and you'd set up as a sponsor, and you'd say, "Hey, I'm looking for creators in these industries, like marketing and business, and I'm willing to pay $2 per subscriber." And, so you make a listing. Here's what people would get. Here's why, like, my content is good. And you put that up in the marketplace. And then creators go and browse that, and they go, "Oh, Pat Flynn, I love his stuff. What's he paying? $2 a subscriber?" Absolutely. And so then they add you into their recommendations form, and they might have a couple, right? Let's say that they're in a mastermind group with 2 other people. And so they're recommending those 2 people for free, because that's just the swap that they're doing. And then the third slot, they're like, "I'd love to get paid for every new subscriber that joins my list, who also joins Pat's list." So they might have that third slot be paid, where they're making now that $2 per subscriber.
So if then I get, 50 new subscribers coming in, which is awesome. I'd pay that creator $100. Has ConvertKit taken any of that? And, is there any rev share with the company?
Yeah. So the way that it works is, as the sponsor, you'd pay $100. And then the creator on the earning side would, like, for the transaction and running the marketplace, ConvertKit takes 20%. And so the creator would get, or everyone in this, it's a little hard. Everyone in this is a creator, which is what makes it amazing. But the person who is, the publisher, the referrer, would make $80. And kind of the other cool thing about it is that you could get started at any size. It's not like, oh, once you have 5,000 subscribers on your email list, you could launch a community, or it's worth selling this course. Or once you have 10,000, you could start selling sponsorships. It's like, no, you could be getting your first 10 people, your first 50 people, and you might only be making $10 a month or $100 a month or something, but you're earning on day one. And one thing that makes me think a lot about is, you've watched this over the years, the number of people that are like, "Oh, I'm going to become a creator," and they're all excited, and they install WordPress, and they do some, they get ConvertKit, and then they like kind of just stall out because the motivation is gone. And so what I love the idea, maybe they stall out at 50 subscribers or 200 subscribers or whatever else, because a way to earn money feels too far off. But I like to imagine someone starting to stall out, and then like that payout for the first $27 comes, and it's like, oh, I'm making money right now off of a really small audience. And that, I think, will turn into like this vote of confidence in yourself and this encouragement to say like, oh, okay, if I grow my audience to 500 people and I'm making money off of each subscriber that I refer out, like I have this steady stream of income, and it doesn't discriminate based on whether I'm a small creator or a large established creator.
No, I agree with that for sure. I'm also considering another use case, which is I'm brand new to a niche, and I would love to have some email subscribers to converse with, to learn about, to get to know.
Right.
And so I can go into ConvertKit's creator network or partner network. I could pay to have my email list, which, is hopefully set up in a way that would convert and very topic specific. And I could find literally the other creators in the space who I would love to feed me some subscribers. And they would get paid, and I would happily pay for that. Right. I would pay $100 to start a company and get to know my avatar immediately. That's absolutely huge. And now my email list is 50 strong on day one, even perhaps, depending on the network and who I'm targeting and how much traffic they're getting and their conversion rates. There's a lot of math involved, but that would be way easier than what we used to do, which was, let's start a blog. Let's just hopefully, rank in Google, and hopefully the right people find us, versus like, if I know my audience aligns and I can offer value to, Tiago Forte's audience, then I'm going to bring some of his audience in. I mean, maybe we already have a relationship and we can do a collaboration and swap for free. But if I'm a nobody,
right,
I can still bring those people in, serve that creator who's brought those people in because, you know, they're on the network and I'm paying them. But also I can upserve that community as well that way.
Yeah. Well, when I think about it, like the amount of time that would take, the process of starting the blog and ranking in Google and all this stuff, like that's 6 months. Probably.
Minimum, probably.
Yeah.
Especially today.
This other process could be 6 days.
If that.
I mean, we're talking so much faster. Another thing that I think is interesting, let's say you do this and you're new to a space and you have, maybe you've been successful somewhere else. You have some budget that you're investing. Maybe it's $1,000 or $5,000, right? And people find your stuff. And now you're like, I want to meet more creators. Well, look at the people who you just paid money to and send them a DM on Twitter, you know, or Instagram or something. Be like, hey man, I'd love to meet. By the way, I'm like, you've been recommending my stuff and I've been paying for it and I've paid you $580, you know, and you know, just saying, I'd love to learn more about your audience. I'd love to see more ways we could collaborate. That's an interesting way to get on someone's radar. Another version of that, let's say you have a fast growing audience, right? And you could there's another creator that you want to meet. Let's say I wanted to meet you. Then I could go in there into the creator network and say, all right, I'm going to start recommending Pat. And now I'm showing up in your dashboard and you're like, who's this Nathan guy that just sent me 100 subscribers? That's cool. And then a few weeks later, you're like, wow, this Nathan guy who I've never met has sent me 500 subscribers. That's pretty wild. And then if I send you a DM and be like, hey Pat, I'm going to be in San Diego. I'd love to meet up. You're like, yeah, dude, like you've sent me now 1,000 subscribers or something. Like that would be super interesting just as a way to even meet creators. And so I could see someone doing that.
That's already happened, dude. It's already happened. Like Corey from Creator Alchemy and I met because I was like, who's this guy promoting my stuff? Like it's converting and his audience aligns with mine. And we reached out to him and he's now a guest on SPI or an upcoming guest on SPI at least.
That is wild. Like he browsed through the directory, found you, he's a fan. And so you're saying he didn't even reach out to you. You saw the number of subscribers he was driving and reached out to him. Is that right? Or somehow you guys got connected?
We connected in the alpha launch.
Oh, yeah.
In Slack. But he reached out to me and said, Pat, like, I've been a fan. Thank you. I'm going to recommend your newsletter to my people. And I was like, wait, what? Who? Like, and then I looked at his stuff and I was like, dude, I need to get you on the show because your stuff would be relevant to my audience. And he was in episode 683. This is Corey Wilkes. And like, it was a great episode. And we wouldn't have met if it wasn't for the Creator Network. But
right.
I mean, again, that being the point rather than like, you know, there's many ways to meet people through connections like that.
Yeah. But this idea, like it'd be one thing, right? If I enjoy your show and I post on Twitter about it, right? You're going to be like, oh, thanks. Cool. I appreciate that. People do that all the time. That's pretty normal. You know, you get a favorite or a reply thanking you for that. It's an entirely different thing if I send you 500 subscribers that are going to like, assuming they're engaged subscribers, that's going to turn into some amount of meaningful revenue in your business as people click on affiliate links, buy products, join your community. And it's just pretty wild how that works.
Interesting. Okay, so you got my gears going again. And you know, we're almost done here because I just wanted to tell the story about how this came to be, but also excite people for what this is. And if you're in ConvertKit already, you can just see it inside of your dashboard. If you go to the Grow tab and then look at Creator Network, it should be open and available to everybody. And by the time this comes out, if not very close to that, let's say I am running a launch for a particular product. Maybe I know it's specifically for women, for example, right? Maybe even for moms in particular. And I can maybe adjust my profile for a period of time that specifically says I do this for moms, right? And target specifically other creators who I know have moms in their audience and pay them. I would pay way more than I would pay Facebook, and I'd be happy to pay that, knowing that that is the exact audience I'm looking for.
Right.
And maybe even on the back end of that, I reach out to them and we can even create a deal, right? And say, hey, I'd love to have you as an affiliate for my product. I'm already, paying you, in fact, for bringing emails in. If you want to take it one step further, I'd be happy to pay you 50% commission for converting my audience into your product, which is specifically for moms or something. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of ninja things that I could do with this.
Yeah, I think there's a lot in that. Brendan Dunn actually is doing this kind of thing already, where he set up, like he integrated the partner network with his affiliate program, and he said, hey, I will pay $2 per subscriber or $3 per subscriber. And then if they end up buying, I'll pay you 30% of whatever they buy. And so he's like, you could be making $20, $50, maybe $100 per subscriber that you send me if they're high quality. And for him, like, that's a great deal. It's a great deal for everybody. And I think what I love most is that this money is staying in the creator ecosystem rather than going to like Instagram advertising or whoever else.
Right. And 20% to ConvertKit is, I mean, that's small change compared to what a lot of these other companies are taking.
Yeah.
And, you know, I know the company it's going to be used to make the features even better.
We're just going to spend money on hiring engineers to make the product better and
basically
go from there.
Now we're getting like silly. If I just was like, if you had the ability to accept money from people like me to grow my email list, and then I just say like, I make my profile like Nathan Barry fan, right? And so when people see that in your recommendations, like it just captures their attention right away because it's literally so specific to that, to those people who are there.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be interesting. I think there's going to be a lot of ways that you'll end up building these connections, and we don't actually know yet.
Yeah, that's what's exciting. I'm getting excited about the possibilities.
It's so new. Like one thing that we were kind of talking about before, someone was asking like, why do you call it the creator network instead of like recommendations? And it's really because this is the first of many features that we don't even know what's coming from this. But email has always been this solo activity that you do. You know, your business runs entirely separately from mine and so on, because the space has been so fragmented, right? Everyone's on MailChimp and Infusionsoft and ConvertKit and a bunch of different tools. And so you can't really collaborate in that way. But now like ConvertKit's about to pass 50,000 paying customers, and we've got a huge amount of the creator market. And so now, like I was just at the Creator Economy Expo conference in Cleveland, and like most people there were on ConvertKit, and most speakers were on stage saying, someone's like, hey, what email platform? And, you know, the speaker's just like, ConvertKit, their booth's over there. They'll take care of this for you, you know?
Yeah, that's cool.
And so what happens is like, you could build all kinds of things. Like what if you and I were doing a product launch together and we have our separate accounts, but what if you could share a segment into my account of all of the people who have bought your product that I'm about to recommend? And I could say, cool, I've got 30,000 people on my list, but I'm going to exclude the 3,000 that are already paying members of your product. I don't need to see the email addresses. We can maintain full privacy.
Wow.
I can just exclude that group. And then, you know, I could promote your product to my list and make sure that there's no overlaps. And I'm not like exporting and importing CSVs.
I could use that right now with a partnership thing I'm doing. That would have been because the conversation about like, well, who emails who and like what if the customers are overlap? Like those kinds of things always come up.
Right.
That's neat. I like how you're thinking.
Yeah. To be clear, we have not built that yet, but that's the sort of thing where I'm just like, you know, exactly what's happening for you. Wheels start turning.
I will push Nathan to make it happen faster for all of us. That is neat. Dude, well, first of all, thank you for coming on and sharing this, and you know, and for being innovative. How are you as a company going to continue to try to remain on the forefront and leading edge of email? Yeah,
I think the biggest thing is just talking to creators. It's pretty easy for anyone building like an established company. It's pretty easy to get bogged down inside of your company, and I think that happened for a while, just as we were navigating like everything, the pandemic and scaling issues and everything else. And now, and really just being stuck at home. But now it's like being at all the conferences and talking to creators and saying, hey, what's working for your business? And you realize like, oh, you're doing that? Oh, we could make that so much more easy in this other way. And so like just being like deeply embedded in the creator community and then seeing what ideas come from that. I'm really excited for the next couple of years because of it.
I'm excited too, man. Well, thank you so much, Nathan. I appreciate you. And a couple of days, I'll see you at the advisory board meeting in Boise. So I look forward to hanging out for a little bit.
Good times. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks so much. All right. Isn't that awesome? I hope you enjoyed this episode. Short and sweet and to the point. Creator Network, amazing. And what it's going to become even better. So if you aren't yet on ConvertKit and you want to get access to this and try it out, and also congrats to the team and congrats to the SparkLoop team as well, that's going to be amazing. Anyway, sorry. You might have heard my gears turning during this entire episode of things that we could do with now this capability. But if you want to try ConvertKit, if you haven't already, You can get started. They have a free trial, all the good things. smartpassiveincome.com/ConvertKit. Again, smartpassiveincome.com/ConvertKit. You can check it out there. And we'll have all the links in the show notes for everything that was mentioned before, including the previous episodes. If you want to hear Nathan's bootstrapping story and some of the hard decisions he had to make to get here, you can check that out as well. Just head on over to smartpassiveincome.com/session689. Again, smartpassiveincome.com/session689. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I look forward to serving you in the next episode. Cheers. Thank you so much for listening to the Smart Passive Income podcast at smartpassiveincome.com. I'm your host, Pat Flynn. Sound editing by Duncan Brown. Our senior producer is David Grabowski, and our executive producer is Matt Gartland. The Smart Passive Income podcast is a production of SPI Media and a proud member of the Entrepreneur Podcast Network. Catch you next week. Have you dreamt about being your own boss, but still haven't made the first steps to making that dream a reality? Well, I get that. Starting a business can feel super overwhelming with legal forms, paperwork, finances. It's a lot. And that's why I'm excited to tell you about Taylor Brands. Taylor is a complete business builder designed to make launching your business simple and stress-free. You can register your LLC in just minutes, keeping your personal assets and the business assets separate from day one. From there, you get access to everything you need to get off the ground. Legal documents, licenses and permits, invoicing and bookkeeping tools, and even a 100-day business coaching program, all designed to help you hit the ground running. You'll also get a free personalized business plan, branding tools, and so much more. And of course, listeners of this show get an exclusive 35% discount to get started. All you have to do is head to taylorbrands.com/SPI. That's TAILORBRANDS.com/SPI. Stop dreaming, start building with Taylor Brands. I get it. You want to grow your business, but selling at scale feels overwhelming. You're drowning in complicated funnels, creating different lead magnets, or constantly posting on social media. And that gets exhausting fast, especially when you're trying to sell to hundreds or thousands of people. But what if you could sell at scale with a simple, powerful quiz? A score app quiz or assessment asks your audience key questions and gives them instant personalized results based on their answers. Your audience gets to know where they are now and shows them the steps they need to hit their goals. You can set up a quiz in minutes using Score App's templates and have a powerful lead magnet that'll do the selling for you. The best part is your audience actually wants to take this quiz, and you build huge amounts of trust before you even make a single offer. No hard sales, no chasing leads, just value at scale. Get 50% off the first 3 months using the discount code SPI. Just head to scoreapp.com/SPI. Again, that's scoreapp.com/SPI.